I do have to apologize to you. Friday, I got mixed up with some things after school, and I didn't get your test corrected as fast as I wanted. I didn't send out a grade check until I had them graded on Sunday, and then you got that grade check. I will get those back to you during your work time today. Here's the biggest thing. If I go into anything that you guys have been doing, many of you right here wanted to not put this step. And then you just gave me the answer. Well, you're not proving to me how you got that. So I took points for that. And right now I only took half a point. But I'm going to tell you on Friday, that's a whole point lost. You have to show me every step. It is more important the process than the right answer, truthfully. Because that process gets you multiple problems correct. One right answer is just that one problem. The other thing that was the, if you want to say the common mistake, is the problem that said 7 less than the sum. And so many of P and T, many of you wrote P plus T minus 7 equaled whatever the number was. But if I want 7 less than the sum, you're telling me I need to take the sum first. So you needed to have parentheses in there. Again, half a point if you didn't have the parentheses. Otherwise, the problems, your story problems at the end, you writing an equation that says like m equals 213 plus 7 divided by 5 is not an equation. You needed to set up for me, what was it? He was 1 inch less than twice his height at 2 years old. So you should have had 2h minus 1 equals 71. I had people say h equals 71 plus 1 divided by 2. That's not an equation. That's order of operations of how you solve this. An equation just takes the information given to you and writes the story out, not solves it for me. So some of you lost 3 out of 4 points because you didn't write the equation, you didn't show me how to solve it. You got the right answer, but you didn't write an embedded variable. Truthfully, those are the mistakes to make on the 34-point or 35-point quiz rather than your 100-point test on Friday, right? So just a heads up, you want to have those little things taken care of. Thank you. Those little things taken care of before we come to our test on Friday. I can't say that anybody besides Thatcher's test killed his grade, and that's just because he still had it and I didn't. So when I put it in as a 0, yes, it killed his grade, but problem resolved there. Nobody's destroyed their grade. Do I think some of you are like, holy crap, I have a B in algebra. I've never had a B in math before, or a B plus even, and you have a reality check coming to you. I do think that. One of the things, and I told you at the beginning of the year, is you're going to have to learn how to study for math. Most of us have never done that, right? Like, I just do my math homework. It's enough practice. That's not going to be the case. I'm going to push you guys. One of my other classes says, good Lord, does algebra have a test every week? Yeah, basically. Okay, so that is something to prepare yourselves. Looking at this week's layout, today and tomorrow are book assignments. Wednesday is a mix of the two online. Thursday is a 20-point review, and Friday is your test. I think it's 12 or 13 questions, but it goes in the grade book out of 100. Okay, so just a reminder of that. So huge points to you. Couple of things. Friday's midterm. Monday's conferences. I know. That's what I thought too. We're already 4.5 weeks into school about. Okay. Overall, nothing super alarming. There is still time for you to raise your grade, but remember, Ms. Hoff does not believe in extra credit, and she doesn't believe in retakes. So you got to earn every point that you can. Cool? All right. Thank you. Let's start on this guy, 2-4. We're going to amp it up now because we're going to have variables on both sides of the equal sign. Okay? My words of wisdom to you, collect the variables first. And I don't care which one goes to which side, but move the variable first. Raise your hand. What should I do on this very first one? First step, Thatcher. Very good. 3 is currently positive. So to move it, I would have to subtract 3k from both sides. Somebody tell me what my next line should read then. After I subtract 3k, what should be what you write down? Meg.
2 plus 2k equals -6.
Perfect. I love it. Now we've collected all our variables on one side. Now it's like where we were the other day. I cover up the 2k. Somebody tell me my next step. Subtract 2, Sophia says, and I'm good with that. Somebody tell me my next line of work. Isaac, bless you. Ooh, nicely done. That's a common mistake. -6 minus 2. He was spot on. Subtract 8. Who's got my next step? Divide by 2. Everybody, k equals -4. Hey, question for you. Hypothetically speaking, on your quiz on Friday, some of you didn't go back even when I said to you there's still 20 minutes left of class. I'd go back and double check your work. Some of you did, some of you didn't. Besides re-solving it, how could you double check that k equals -4 is right? Emily. Right, so 2 plus 5, and then I replace it with -4 is supposed to be 3 times -4 minus 6. So on the left side, I would multiply, which would give me -20. 2 minus 20 is -18. 3 times -4 is -12, minus 6 more is -18. That is for sure correct. You know that you have the correct answer. Now, I wouldn't do this until you're all the way through your test, right? You don't want to be doing check work and then Miss Hoff say you got 5 minutes left of class and you have no time to get the rest of the test done. Because remember, your test is always due at the end of the hour. And most of you are like, yeah, the 2 that we've taken are fine. But as we get into more complex things, it's going to take the majority of your hour to double check your work. Okay? Let's talk about this one first. Always collect your variables. This one, on the last one, I said it doesn't matter which one you move. This one, I'm going to tell you it does. Somebody raise your hand and tell me which one you want to move and why you want to move that one. Alexa.
If you take 7W, then you don't have any.
Perfect. That's exactly right. You want to move your 3W because if you move 7W, what's left over there? A 0 technically, and then you actually made more work for yourself. So if something's already by itself, don't move it. How am I going to move 3W? Remind me again. Subtract 3W. Good. My next line of work, who can tell me what that's going to say? Thatcher?
2 equals 4W.
All right. Who's got my next step? Next. Careful. Divide by 4. Divide by 4. You always divide by your coefficient here. Now most of you are going to panic because we know 2 divided by 4 is a decimal. Will Miss Hoff accept the decimal? No, because we started with whole numbers. Don't panic though. Drag this straight down. 2 divided by 4. And then you say, can I simplify? What can you divide out? A 2 divides out of there. So you really end up with 1/2. Always divide by your coefficient, the number in front of the variable, even if it's smaller, or even if it's larger, I mean. Even if it's larger. All right. Here's the problem that threw us for a little bit of a loop on our quiz as well. What do we hate about this? It has fractions. So Ms. Hoff's suggestion is get rid of the fractions. So we have to think of a number that we can multiply that cancels both. What was my hint to you? Multiply all of them together. In this case, I have a 2 and a 4. If I multiplied them together, I would get 8. Now, technically, could you multiply by 4 and still cancel both of them? But I just want to show you multiplying by 8 works. Where do you think people made a mistake on their test on Friday? Meg? Very good. As soon as people see a whole number, they're like, I don't need that. Whatever you do, though, you have to do to every single term. Terms are separated by plus and minus signs. So whether it's a fraction or a whole number, you still have to multiply by 8. So I'm going to take 8 times x over 2 and 8 times 1. 8 times 1/4 x and 8 times negative 6. Then we look to simplify. 8 cancels to be a 4, 2 cancels to be a 1, so you multiply to get 4x. 8 and 1 don't have anything to cancel, they're just whole numbers, so 8 times 1 is 8. On the right-hand side, 8 would cancel to become a 2, 4 cancels to become a, when I multiply, I end up with 2x. 8 times negative 6, negative 48. Now it's beautiful because we don't have any fractions to deal with. Collect your variables. What do you want to move? How are you going to move it? Subtract it. 4x minus 2x is 2x. Drag down your positive 8. On the right-hand side, you have negative 48, correct? Now, what's next? Subtract 8 from both sides. 2x equals negative 56. Then, divide by 2. X equals negative 28, not 3 half. Negative 28. Not so bad. True? Okay. Now we have parentheses. Before you get to move things side to side, you got to get rid of the parentheses. How do I get rid of parentheses? We distribute. On the left, what are you distributing? 6. All right. 6 times 5m. 30m. 6 times negative 3. Negative 18. We have to distribute a fraction? I hate fractions, and now you're going to make me distribute a fraction? Why is this not so bad? Say it again. Somebody said it. When you multiply by 1/3, it's really the same as dividing by 3, because you're multiplying the top number times 1. So 1/3 times 24m really gives me 8m. You were just checking everybody else is paying attention, right?
Yeah.
1/3 times 12 is 4. What do you want to move? 8m. How you going to do it? Subtract 8m. Subtract 8m. 30m minus 8m is 22m. Dragging down 18. Ooh, negative 18. Dragging down equal to 4. Now what do you want? Add 18. 22m equals 22. Then divide by 22. M is 1. What started as kind of a nasty problem ended up not so bad. Not so bad. Okay? See what you get on this one. I'll check in with you in just a minute. See what you get. we have any alarms going off? You should have an issue with this problem. I distributed 3 and got 15x minus 12 minus 10x. What should my next step be? Combine your like terms. 15x minus 10x. So that left side's not going to change. 5x plus 5 isn't going to change. What do I end up with on the right? 5x minus 12. So then the next thing Ms. Hoff always harps on us is collect your variables. Which one do you want to move, 5x or 5x? 5x. How are you going to move it? Subtract 5x. If you have 5 apples and you eat 5 apples, how many do you have left? You don't have any left. So you drag down just a plain 5. And on the right-hand side, if you have 5 apples and you eat 5 apples, how many do you have left? Nothing. You drag down a negative 12. And an alarm should be going off. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Why don't I have a variable? Anybody know the answer to this? No solution is the answer. Your variable canceled. You can only tell me no solution if you show me that your variable canceled. And then you look at this statement and you say, well, does 5 equal negative 12? Are these two the same number? No. So that means it is a no solution. So today you're going to have problems that have a solution. Everything we've done thus far, x equals 2, y equals 5, q equals 9. Those are solutions. This one, because your variable canceled, and you have two numbers that don't really equal each other, you say no solution. There is no number that you plug in there that ends up working out for this equation. What do you think the opposite of no solution is? Infinite solutions. Okay? Infinite solutions is the opposite, and you may have that today. Infinite solutions means absolutely every number works. Okay, so you start with an equation and you solve it. What is the bottom line going to look like in order for you to say infinite solutions? 5 equals 5. Negative 10 equals negative 10. 2/3 equals 2/3. The variable cancels, but the two numbers are equal to one another. They're identical on either side. And what that means is absolutely any number you plug in, you're going to get the same answer on the left as you do the right. So what's scary to people is there's 3 different options you have for an answer today. You might have no solution. You might have infinite solutions, and you might say like x equals 5. K equals q. That means one solution. You've seen this before though, yes? Okay, cool. One more and then I'm going to leave you alone. Find the value of x so that the figures have the same area. In math, the same means equal. So I need the area of rectangle 1 to equal the area of rectangle 2. And I'm just going to label these 1 and 2. What's the area of rectangle 1? Or how do I calculate the area? 10x, how'd you get that?
I multiply 10 by it.
And
It
you're right.
to do area, it's length times width and width.
Perfect. I was looking for length times width, so he's spot on. The length and the width would be 10 times x, which really does simplify just to be 10x. How do I calculate the area of rectangle 2? Why in parentheses, Meg?
So that'll be x times 6. Or, oh, because that gets your length.
We need this whole side.
Yeah.
If you would just write 3 plus x times 6, then it would just be taking 6 times x, which you're absolutely right. So we needed that whole length added together. So what's important about this? The parentheses are important because you have to distribute. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times x is 6x. Which one should I move? 6x. How are you going to do it? Subtract 6x. 10x minus 6x. 4x equals 18. Then I divide by 4. Can I give Miss Hoff a decimal answer on this? Are you sure? I can or I can't? You can. Why? Emily? It's centimeters. Do you ever say, we have 9/2 centimeters? No, that's the beauty of the metric system, right? Is you get to have decimals. So you're going to say, yeah, but we started with whole numbers and you've harped on us all year. And this is where story problems are a game changer. Look at what you're talking about here. We're talking about centimeters. If you walked into Mrs. Broth's room and said, in Miss Hoff's class, we had 9/2 centimeters, she would come marching down here like, what are you teaching my kids? What is 18 divided by 4? 4.5. So it asks you, find the value of x, 4.5 centimeters. Because it's centimeters. Because it's centimeters. Ooh, what if it was inches? What would we say? So you would tell, so let's just say this problem was labeled in inches. Would you tell me 18 over 4, which is really 9 over 2 inches? My little brother is 9/2 inches tall. Well, let's hope he's not. 9/2 feet. What would you say? I would write a mixed number. In this, I would say he's 4.5 inches tall. So when it comes to story problems, the rules fluctuate a little bit based on what your responses are or on what your labels are of the situation. It has been a long time since we've done a book assignment, and Guian has not been here since we've done a book assignment. Okay? Do you ever have to rip your book assignment out of your notebook? No, because you're not really going to turn it into me. Okay? There's algebra books in the back to be able to access. Now, when you get home, how do you find your book? On your McGraw-Hill like you do your science. I'll have to give that to you. Hey, sit down. I haven't even given you the assignment yet. Jeez. All right, 2-4. I'll find you the page number here in a second. 10. Hey, sit and listen. 10 through 36 evens. Evens. Skip 24. 10 through 36 evens. Skip 24. Your homework starts on page 29. Nope, just kidding. 100. 100. Okay?